sometimes in the NFL, the better team doesn't always win. Last night was Pittsburgh. They're better than Cleveland, but it's a short week. It's snowy. It's a divisional rival. Hey, Jameis Winston can make plays. We know that. But what makes that loss painful for the Steelers, this is exactly how they lose big games against top coaches, the Belichicks and the Bradys and the Mannings for years. You kind of think they're the better team with a better roster. They're bigger, more physical. And then you look up and they make bad decisions late in games. Mike Tomlin burning a couple of timeouts. And Tomlin, for the record, I've defended him. I'd name him coach of the year. But, and I've said this many times, he's not viewed as a scheme wizard or a chess player. Either's Dan Campbell. And Dan Campbell's great. And Mike Tomlin's got a trophy or two. So not all these coaches are the same. It's Hollywood. Daniel Day-Lewis is not The Rock and vice versa. They both work. So Tomlin has always been known as more motivator than innovator. And that's always been his thing. And this team, the Steelers in Tomlin's era, have always had, a very, very high floor, but a lower ceiling. I mean, hell, they lost to the Cowboys this year. And yet they beat the Ravens. And yet they lose to the Browns. And that's what they've been. And this is what drives Pittsburgh Steeler fans crazy, is that they're always good, very high ceiling, never embarrassing, always competent. Even when they have bad quarterback play, they can make the playoffs. But you never feel they've got the Andy Reid ceiling, or maybe the Kyle Shanahan ceiling, or the McVay ceiling, or the Peyton Manning or Tom Brady ceiling. So, and that's just the way it is. I thought the Steelers would win it. There was 4.5 minutes left. They got a pick. They'd scored on touchdowns on previous drives. I thought it was all done, but it's the kind of game where they burn some timeouts. You don't trust their fourth down call. And, this is what the Pittsburgh Steelers have become. And I get it. Like last night, they're the better team. It's the better roster. They've got momentum. I don't necessarily get the going to Justin Fields when you've got Russell Wilson, especially on a big third down play, and then throwing it deep. And Justin Fields, in bad weather especially, is not really built for that. And maybe you only get 6 or 7 snaps in the game, but I don't exactly understand the plan here. Russell Wilson was 4-0. What are you monkeying around with that stuff? Just play Russell Wilson. Justin Fields, maybe there are certain times in a clean game, not in the road, short week, not snowstorm, that you could play him. So, Thursday night football is about strategy and details, and that's not necessarily the strength of the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? They're about motivation and physicality and toughness, and I love all those things. I love all those things. But what makes the Lions that love those things great is their clever offensive coordinator and their efficiency offensively. So Mike Tomlin, on a night he had the better team and lost, was terse after the L. Okay, now you're still 8-3. You lead the division. You're still the most physical team in your division. You just beat Baltimore. Schedule's not easy, but you're 8-3. You tip the cap to Jameis Winston and David Njoku. We've said this all year. Cleveland's got talent. Jameis Winston's talented. He's a little goofy sometimes, but he's a talented kid, and he made a great fourth down play to score a touchdown. Njoku with a 2-point conversion was amazing. But this is what drives Steeler fans crazy. And Julian Edelman, who was 9-0 with the Patriots on Thursday, talks about why Tomlin specifically has been so bad as a Thursday coach, and the reason being is Thursdays are different. You got to use kind of the same plays. It's about efficiency and details because your team they don't feel good. Everybody's a little sore. Thursdays are different. Tomlin's teams struggle with it, and here's Julian Edelman.
They've never been a fundamentally sound offense of team with Tomlin there. Not like an execution-style offense. They've never been that. I don't think I lost a Thursday night game because we were so fundamentally sound as an offense, and we were a smart football team that understood what we had to do to win this short week.
Yeah, and so, again, Tomlin's great on Sundays and great on Monday when the Steelers have extra rest. But on these short weeks, he's not good. Burning timeouts, dubious fourth down decisions. This was a game where you had to be short week, rival, bad weather late. It was a game in which you had to be buttoned up to win that game. I don't think it's a coincidence. Belichick was great on Thursdays. Andy Reid's great on Thursdays. And the Steelers just didn't feel buttoned up. And I still think they're going to have a great year. I think they're going to win a playoff game. I like what I see. The Russell Wilson move by Tomlin was smart. But this is the kind of game that can drive the Mike Tomlin critics crazy in Pittsburgh. By the way, I think if Dan Campbell met Andy Reid in the Super Bowl, I would trust Andy Reid. Some coaches are alpha. They build around culture and toughness. Mike Vrabel's got this feel to him. Not all coaches are the same. Some have strengths. Some have weaknesses. Tomlin's got plenty of strengths. But that was the kind of Steeler loss that drives Steeler fans nuts. Because you felt like we got the better team, the momentum, better players. We have a lead. This is our game. And they couldn't end it. Okay, so sometimes in sports, you'll see some marriage or potential marriage, and it feels weird, but weird sometimes works in sports and in life. And, not every marriage you think is going to work, and it often does. And I got to tell you, Rex Ryan wants the New York Jets job. Now, he's the last really successful New York Jets coach they had, just for the record. And I've had my battles with Rex before. I think he's a nice guy, I really do. But he's already, this is so Rex Ryan, he wants the Jets job. I think it would work. He's qualified. He's won. And I think, because there's such a circus, he's the only proven coach that would really want the job. Or do you want to give it in New York to another coordinator that gets trampled by Aaron Rodgers? The Jets as a franchise are impulsive, loud, and overconfident. That is Rex Ryan's resume. He's an alpha. He'd build an alpha Detroit Lions staff. We all laughed at the Dan Campbell biting kneecaps presser. It worked. And it worked because he got the right offensive coordinator. And the GM drafted the right players. This is a good roster. And this franchise needs completely new energy. And this may be one of those marriages you think is not going to work. But the entire Jets team night right now with Aaron Rodgers feels like it's outsourced, right? It's kind of Aaron's team. It's outsourced to placate Aaron. Rex Ryan's a Jet. He got along with Woody Johnson. He's the only coach they've ever had that got along with Woody Johnson. And Woody's not going to change. So you better get somebody that could get along with Woody Johnson. They'll play hard. It sounds hokey. A lot of marriages do. But I think there's a Dan Campbell feel, and we have these coaches that we don't view necessarily as schematic wizards. Campbell's working. Mike Tomlin's working. Rex Ryan. Hey, Rex Ryan took Mark Sanchez into New England and beat Brady. Tough, physical, in-your-face, low-scoring games. This organization feels outsourced since Aaron got there. The Jets need a Jet. The Jets need an alpha. The whole thing with Aaron, doesn't it feel like, Aaron, please save us? It feels so weak. I mean, it's like the damsel in distress doesn't work in a locker room of 55 alphas. I think this franchise has some really good players. I don't think they should have fired Saleh, and I don't think they should have fired the GM, Joe Douglas. But the Rex Ryan thing, go ahead and laugh. I think it would work. It would give them an identity. When Rex was there before, they had an identity. They were tough. They were physical. They were loud. They were in your face. They weren't intimidated by anybody. I would have no problem with this. Or just go roll the dice on another coordinator. I mean, good luck with that. It feels like it would work. Some of these marriages in life, you're like, she married him. He married her. He's going to work for them. She's going to work for them. And they work more often than you think. Rex, Jets, I think it works.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.